Hey everybody, it's Matt. I thought I'd post my Omega Supreme list that I promised I'd be posting sometime this weekend. I got to play it this week at the event, and my girlfriend had a chance to play it, and she didn't do too well because they took out Warpath the first turn, but I played a couple games afterwards and did pretty well with it. I will let you all know now that there really is only really a few builds that I've seen so far for this. So if it is similar like that, please give me any critique or instruction how I can make this build any better, because I would love to make this an amazing deck that just crushes everybody. And, for fun, of course, because really, we're playing Warpath. He's going to get one shot no matter what. So let's talk about the deck. I hope everyone got their Omega Supreme, that's for sure. So if you don't know who he is, he was a character that was released as part of the Loot Crate special. I remember when everybody posted him, people seeing his promo symbol, and they're like, promo 2? Promo 2? What's promo 1? Which ended up being Golden Bee, the Lunar New Year one, which also I do have as well, actually coming to me in the mail. So anyways, I am going to be letting you guys know that once I do reach 100 subscribers, I am going to do a giveaway for my extra Omega Supreme and send it out to a lucky person. So, that being said, let's talk about our deck here. So, Omega Supreme, when you flip to this mode, choose one, draw a card, or do one damage to an enemy. He shares the Guardian and ranged subtypes on both sides, and he has the spaceship and the tank subtype on this side. When he's on his other side, he has much drastically different stats. And if one of your characters, this Joker right over here, were to take 2 or more attack damage, instead you may have Omega Supreme take 2 of that damage and your other character take the rest. So you can kind of protect Warpath a little bit. Warpath. He is not the best, but I love him. So he is a tiny little tank. He has the ranged subtype on both sides and his tank on his main alt mode. He has 6 health, which is awful. Just awful. I really wish that they would have given him at least maybe 4 defense or 3 defense on the side to kind of, make his rare. So, he's rare, and he usually will die to a good swing. Like if another Omega Supreme attacks with a couple more orange pip, he's toast. So when you flip to this mode, for each card in your opponent's scrap pile that has at least 2 blue pips, your opponent chooses one of their characters and does 1 damage to it. And while in bot mode, enemies can't use tough. He has Pierce 2, and he gets some pretty good defense. So what are we building around this deck? Now, there's going to be a couple things we'll talk about, alternate cards you can use in place of the ones that we have here. By the way, Xenagos is doing good, as you can see. But let's talk about our actions first. So, the first card that we're going to be playing is 3 copies of Escape Route, which lets you flip one of your characters from bot mode to alt mode. The reason why we play this card is it is better than Rapid Conversion, in my personal opinion. Now, because Rapid Conversion you'll have to draw into, you can actually trade a card with Escape Route. In this deck, you're going to be trying to cycle through and scrap your armors from your hand, or I should say discard them if you have to reoccur them with other cards in this deck, which we'll talk about. When this does, you can either flip Warpath to trigger his damage direct, or Omega Supreme to draw an additional card, or do the damage. Great little card. It's been seeing a little bit of play in some of my decks, but I really enjoy it. Next up on our list is going to be Inspiring Leadership. Inspiring Leadership, we're talking about this one before the next one. I usually do them in alphabetical order, but we're doing it this way first. So you draw 3 cards and strap 2 cards from your hand. You're going to be pitching a lot of cards, such as Superior Plating, Handheld Blaster, and Security Checkpoint most times, so that you can specifically recycle them to draw better cards that will help you, do what your deck wants to do. Those cards themselves are great, but unfortunately, Handheld Blaster has no effect in this deck because it gives your characters bold 1. There's very little orange in the deck, so we don't really need that. And Security Checkpoint is very much a card which we'll discuss later, which is, disrupts your opponent's hand and the such. And Superior Plating, well, that's a whole new bag. So, great card. It's been around since Wave 1. Next, we're going to talk about Hunker Down, my favorite card in this deck. Hunker Down lets you flip each of your characters from your bot mode to your tank mode, and then for each of your tanks that isn't upgraded with an armor, put an armor from it from your scrap pile. This is going to be here primarily to go ahead and grab a spoiler card, the Superior Plating, which you're going to be playing in this deck, to give your characters tough 4. Now, you do have to remember when playing Hunker Down that you do have to resolve the rest of Hunker Down before your abilities take effect. So once you fetch your armor and when you flip, then you can take the abilities of your characters. So after you put the armor on, you flip back to your alt mode, then you can go ahead and do the abilities listed on the character. It's a good way to cheat out and get the armors that you're not being able to play directly from your hand. Next, we're playing 3 copies of Marksmanship. Marksmanship is a new rare card from Wave 2. If you have a ranged character on the battlefield, which we have 2 of, do 2 damage to an enemy in bot mode. There'll be some times when your characters don't have, when the opponent doesn't have their characters out in bot mode, but most times, since this game is primarily based on flipping your characters into bot mode, they will be there. Next is Security Checkpoint. Now, we talked a little bit earlier about Security Checkpoint, how its usefulness. This is very much a risk and reward card, as the deck itself is risk and reward. You're really hoping your opponent doesn't swing into Warpath on turn 1, and Security Checkpoint is there to give you that double blue defense pip flip. And also, if you need to disrupt their hand by playing it, you know if someone's playing an upgrade heavy deck, or you know that they may have some good upgrades in their deck from watching them play maybe the last game you played them. This will make them discard that, and also you as well. So it'll discard the Superior Platings and handheld blasters in your hands that you don't need. Great little card. Next is Surprise Attack. Surprise Attack is a white pip, and it is a action which gives you one of your characters Pierce 3 in another turn. This most times will be going on Warpath to kind of go and just get his ability to function. Also, you can put it on Omega Supreme if you already have other features that give him Pierce. It's a great card. I love it. Next is a single copy in the deck, Tech Research. Tech Research doesn't do anything. You play it, and it just doesn't do anything. But it does let you fetch it when you flip it during a defense or an attack flip. So you'll most likely want to pull it if you do have a way to play your Superior Plating. And last but not least, for our actions in this deck, we have Vaporize. Vaporize lets you scrap an enemy upgrade. It is the new version of Ramming Speed. I like it a lot. We play 3 of them. Now, let's take a look at some of the other actions that we could possibly play if you don't wish to play these ones. So, alright, so the first one is going to be Swap Missions. Swap Missions is from Wave 1, and this will let you tap one of your, untap one of your tapped characters, and then tap one of your tapped characters. So, untap. I can't read this card. Untap one of your tapped characters, and then tap one of your untapped characters. And we're going to be doing that mostly for Warpath, so we want to go ahead and get a Omega Supreme to kind of just swing twice. So that's the primary reason. You could probably play 1 or 2 of them in the deck. I would recommend against playing 3, but it may be some fun shenanigans. That's what this game's all about, is having fun. Next is Brainstorm. You may play an action, and then you play another action. This game and this actual, specifically this deck, relies you to be able to pull off 1 to 2 actions sometimes per turn. Having the extra option to play that is great. Next, we're going to talk about our upgrades in the deck. First of all, we have 3 copies of Handheld Blaster. You don't want to play this on your character. You have very, very few orange pips in this deck. I would say under 3. 3 is the least. And the only reason you'd ever want to play this is you never want to. Toss this out with Inspiring Leadership, toss it out with Security Checkpoint, find a ways to toss it out with cards that you just don't need. It is only in there for the blue defense pip. That's it. Next is a new card that has been seeing quite a bit of play, Noble's Blaster. If you're fighting Decepticons, you're going to get Pierce 2, but it gives your character +2 to attack. You can also fish it out. So let's say if you flip this when you're battling, and you have a Handheld Blaster or Security Checkpoint or Superior Plating in your hand that you don't want to play right now, you can swap that with Noble's Blaster. Great card. I love this card. Goes great on your characters. Next is an old favorite from Wave 1, Reinforced Plating. It gives your character tough 2. Pretty simple. It's legit. It has been seen lots of play. And you know what it does. Next is a brand new card from Wave 2 that I quite like. This here was suggested by, I believe, one of the guys on the Facebook Transformers page. And I was kind of just throwing around ideas for a Warpath deck. And I'd seen someone mention to me that Security Console seems pretty great. I do play this in my Aerobots deck as well, so it's quite good. And when the upgraded character defends, draw a card, then plan one. You may put one card from your hand on top of your deck. So it's great for defending. Next, we're going to be talking about another weapon. We're going to save the last upgrade for the last bit. We have Thermal Weaponry. Love Thermal Weaponry. This has been one of my favorites since Wave 1. I always want to find ways to play it. Now that we have Wave 2, we have so many ways to interact with this card. Your character gets +1 to attack, and when the upgraded character attacks, it has Pierce 1 equal to the number of blue that you flip. And if you flip a whole bunch of blue and you've got, a bunch of attack, it's great. Let's say if you're attacking with a Mega Supreme and you're able to flip a total of 8 blue pips, you're going to have Pierce 8. So, because of a 7 plus the 1 attack in the blue pimps. This card wrecks face. And last, but not certainly least, the risk and reward is Superior Plating. This can only be played if you've played a tech research this turn. Remember that one card that we played one of? Someone recommended for me to play 2 of these like that, but I played 2 in the deck, and I found almost every time I ended up with a dead extra card in my hand. So I stuck it down to 1. Superior Plating gives your character tough 4. There are ways to have this played. One of them is with Hunker Down. If you go ahead and resolve Hunker Down, you can fetch this from your scrap pile and put it on your little Warpath. Tough 4, it makes him pretty dangerous to hurt, especially in his bot mode. And that is pretty much the deck. We're going to go ahead and talk about a couple other upgrades you could possibly play. The first one is going to be Crushing Treads. Crushing Treads only goes on tanks, and your upgraded character has Pierce equal to its defense. Now, this is going to be the card you're going to want to play if you don't have Thermal Weaponry or Noble's Blaster for some reason. You could sub this in if you wanted to. It is an orange pip. It will decrease on your ratio of blue pips that are going to be flipped, but it can work for you at some times. Next is Inverted. This was actually suggested to me on one of my videos by, I believe, Angelo for my Aerobots list, but I feel that Aerobots really do need their blue pips to survive. And Inverted, you may want to put this on a Mega Supreme, an last-ditch effort to kind of just, take someone out. You can fetch it when it's flipped, and when the upgrader attack is battling, each orange you flip becomes a blue, and each blue you flip becomes an orange. So it can be quite good. I did play it in the list originally. I had not played Marksmanship. I was actually playing this instead, and I found that it did do really well, but when I was playing against lists like Bugs and Dinobots, it just got crushed. So it is a risk and reward if you want to play it, but either way, it's kind of a cool card. So that is my list for Omega Supreme. I'm sure that there are similar lists out there, and if there are, please, I'd love to hear suggestions, critique, comments, anything that you want to give me regarding the deck itself, and feel free to use it, play it, claim it as your own, all that good stuff, and have fun with it, because that's what this game's all about, having fun. And if you want, you can leave a comment or like or subscribe. I love to make these videos, these deck tech videos. Also, I really want to give a shout out to a couple channels that have been helping me out like that. One of them is Powered by Primus. They're a great bunch of dudes that helped me out originally with getting a couple cards that I was missing, or looking into them. And another is going to be Wreck and Rule for their constant gameplay feeds and great commentary, and just being a bunch of enjoyable dudes that put out regular content for all of us, for free. And lastly is a new channel that just came out by a gentleman named James. He is one of the guys we usually always talked as a group in the live streams, and he just put out a great new list for Lazarus Slipstream. Lazarus Skywarp Slipstream, imagine. So, and he's got a great little deck tech for it, and I really recommend you check out his channel. It's brand new, and it'd be great to have some get him some more views. And anyways, I hope you really enjoyed this vid. Thanks for watching, and as always, have fun, and I'll see you in the next video. And peace.